This is Prince Handley coming to you with 100,000 watts of pure love. The voice of Israel and for Israel. I want to talk to you today about Bibi, Bagels, and Bar Mitzvah. Come on, Bibi, you're 60 years old now. Start acting like it. Recently, you've been acting like a 12-year-old waiting for Bar Mitzvah. What happened to your chutzpah? You might want to read the Joys of Yiddish again. What would your brother Yonatan think of the way you're acting? Or are you playing a script written by your brother Iddo? Look at what's happening. By the way, I realize you were the only PM born after the State of Israel was founded. However, if you don't change your course, Bibi, and if you don't stand up and act as the man you once were, you may have to celebrate Yom Ha'atzmaut next year as Nakba Day in East Yerushalayim. You're going to have to decide for yourself and for the Israeli people if you want to experience pride or pain, joy or agony. Bibi, you are in Bein Hashamshot right now. You're standing between day and evening. Are you going to bring the trophy home or lose the game? Remember, the prize is not yours, Bibi. It belongs to the people of Israel. Bibi, you are to represent God, not Haman. Stop giving in to the U.S., the UN, and the EU. Bibi, here are 7 areas of motivation for you. Number 1, except for the Russian-made Tor M1 short-range interceptor, Iran's air defense systems are outdated and pretty useless against the U.S. stealth bombers or the Israeli Air Force's electronic jamming instruments. Number 2, the Iranian Air Force has nowhere near the capacity to take on U.S. or Israeli air might. Number 3, most of the research laboratories working on the development of nuclear weapons and missiles has been or are being moved to subterranean locations. Number 4, bogus installations have been planted not far from genuine plants to mislead assailants. Number 5, ballistic missiles and the missiles distributed to Iran's Middle East allies, Syria, the Lebanese Hezbollah, and the Palestinian Hamas, will be Iran's first response to attack the Israeli Air Force and missile and radar, as well as the Israel-based U.S. military facilities. The result will be that Israeli warplanes will have no facilities to come back to, and its missiles are knocked off their launch pads. Number 6, Iran's nuclear facilities are susceptible to attack, including the Uranium Enrichment Center at Natanz, the Isfahan fuel plants in Isfahan, the facilities in northern Tehran, and the reactors being constructed in Iraq opposite the Straits of Hormuz. Number 7, you will be a hero, a God-sent deliverer for Israel. Now, just as I previously gave you 7 areas of motivation, Bibi, here are 7 steps you must take for Israel. Number 1, Israel has to attack preemptively. You have no natural security against multi-directional missiles. Number 2, demolish the missiles Syria, Hezbollah, and Hamas have been steadily stockpiling from Iran. Number 3, totally devastate Lebanon, Syria, and Gaza. Number 4, Bibi, you're going to have to choose between striking Iran's ballistic missile bases or the missiles pointing at Israel from Syria, Lebanon, and the Gaza Strip, as well as dealing with hostile ships facing Israel from a 5th direction, the Mediterranean. And by the way, the new Israeli unmanned stealth craft, Protector SV, or the Death Shark, must be clandestinely operative in the Mediterranean. Number 5, stop hindering the IDF from doing their job. In the time of the judges, you can read this in Sefer Shoftim, Ehud was a deliverer for the children of Israel. However, the Ehud you're working with, Bibi, Ehud Barak, defense minister, is more of a deliverer for terrorists and the enemies of Israel. He might as well offer them bagels. Stop Ehud Barak from restricting the IDF. Number 6, the U.S. and the EU will not control Abbas. Bibi, you must control Abbas. Number 7, stop freezing construction on the West Bank. Why sell your own people down the river, Bibi? Let the settlers settle. You may want to know if God is really with you, Bibi. Let me remind you of what Gideon did. Gideon said, I'm the runt kid in the runt family and the runt tribe of the runt nation of the world. But Gideon said to God, you say that you've decided to use me to rescue Israel. Well, I'm putting some wool on the ground where we thresh the wheat. And if in the morning there's dew only on the wool but not on the ground, then I will know that you're going to use me to rescue Israel. That's exactly what happened. When Gideon got up early the next morning, he squeezed the wool and wrung enough dew out of it to fill a bowl with water. Then Gideon said to God, don't be angry with me, but let me speak just once more. Please let me make one more test with the wool. This time let the wool be dry and the ground around it be wet. That night God did that very thing. The next morning the wool was dry, but the ground was wet with dew. Well, you know the rest of the story, Bibi. Gideon had 32,000 men with him, and God said, you have too many. You've gathered too many men, and I'm not going to get the glory. The Israelites will claim the glory as their own instead of acknowledging that God, the God of Israel, has saved them. So God first instructed Gideon to send home those men who were afraid, and Gideon then allowed any man who wanted to leave to leave. 22,000 men returned home, and 10,000 remained. Yet the number was still too many according to God. And the Lord said to Gideon, there are still too many men. You can read this in Sefer Shoftim, in the book of Judges, chapter 3, in the Tanakh. The Lord said to Gideon, there are still too many men. Take them down to the water, and I will sift them there for you. If I say this one shall go up with you, he shall go. But if I say this one shall not go with you, he shall not go. So Gideon took the men down to the water. There the Lord told Gideon, separate those who lap the water with their tongues like a dog from those who kneel down to drink. 300 men lapped with their hands to their mouths. All the rest got down on their knees to drink. The Lord said to Gideon, with the 300 men that lapped, I will save you and give the Midianites into your hands. Let all the other men go, each to his own place. And during the night God instructed Gideon to approach the Midianite camp. Gideon overheard a Midianite man tell a friend of a dream in which God had given the Midianites over to Gideon. Gideon worshiped God for his encouragement and revelation, and Gideon then returned to the Israelite camp and gave each of his men a trumpet and a clay jar with a torch hidden inside. Divided into 3 companies, Gideon and the 300 marched on the enemy camp. Watch me, Gideon told them. Follow my lead. When I get to the edge of the camp, do exactly as I do. When I and all who are with me blow our trumpets, then from all around the camp blow yours and shout, for the Lord and for Gideon. The 3 companies blew their trumpets and smashed the jars, grasping the torches in their left hands and holding in their right hands the trumpets they were to blow. They shouted, a sword for the Lord and Gideon, or the sword of the Lord and of Gideon. While each man held his position around the camp, all the Midianites ran, crying as they fled away. When the 300 trumpets sounded, the Lord caused the men throughout the camp of the enemy to turn on each other with their swords. Bibi, ask God for a sign. Ask God if he wants you to be a deliverer for Israel. And then do what the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Avram, Yitzhak, Yaakov, tells you to do. God is for you, Bibi. That's why he sent me to give you this word. Now it's time for you to be for him. Well, Bibi, it's been a privilege talking with you again. Now it's time for your Bar Mitzvah. Become a man. This is the voice of Israel, and this is your friend, Prince Handley, coming to you with 100,000 watts of pure love. Baruch haba b'Shem Adonai.